Episode 104, Right Now. Welcome back to One Extraordinary Marriage, where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of intimacy. You're here with Elisa DiLorenzo.
And Tony DiLorenzo.
And we're having flashbacks. That song was popular our freshman year in college. And, gosh, I remember many late nights sitting up watching MTV.
Yes, that was in the age and the day when we had MTV, right? Music videos.
And it was music videos. That was at the start of Real World. I think Real World started while we were in college, and that was the beginning of reality TV as we know it today.
It was.
But right now,
right
now, we're going to be talking about what you can do today to make a difference in your marriage.
Mm-hmm. And the reason we're bringing this up now is, in the past couple of weeks, we've talked about certain things like date nights and how you can plan those out for the future, but some of those things may not happen in the future if we, as a couple, aren't engaging each other right now, today, this moment, when things are getting brutally hard on us. Because whatever happens and how we act and react today at this moment can cause us to be in a spiral, and a downward spiral possibly, that doesn't allow us to really have fun and engage each other and have this joyous occasion that we've been planning for. Mm-hmm. And so that's what tonight is all about, and today's show is all about. It's what do we do right now in our marriages, in all forms of intimacy, right? Because we want to be engaging each other in all areas, so that way we can have this impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting as we're preparing for the show, and this is a song that I've actually wanted to play and develop a podcast on for a while. In fact, I had to go back and look through all our old episodes to make sure we hadn't already done a show on it, because it was so vivid in my mind that we would have played.
That we have done it.
Well, just that we would have played the song, because I've thought about the fact, the sense of immediacy in this song, and I remember being in college and the music video for this, where the words were flashing. Right. The different lines would be flashing up there, and things to do right now. Mm-hmm. And, I'm struck by the line in the song as I was looking over the lyrics. There are two lines that says, right now, hey, it's your tomorrow. And how often do we find ourselves saying, you know what, tomorrow I'll make up with her. Tomorrow I'll be nicer to the kids, to the family. Tomorrow I'll come home early. Tomorrow I'll take out the trash. Tomorrow I'll put the toilet seat down. Tomorrow I'll make dinner for him. And reading over this song, having those flashbacks to almost 20 years ago. I guess it actually was 20 years ago.
It is. Yeah.
And thinking, okay, back then, everything was right now. Like you were just in college, you were living in the moment, working towards your degree, but it was like, what's going on right now? Who's doing what? And then we get to this point in our lives where everything seems like it's in the future. Like I'm working towards, you hear people say, well, I'm like working towards retirement, or I'm working towards this career path, or I want to, I can't wait till we make 20 years married, or whatever it is. It's always about the future. And I think so often we forget to live right now.
In the present.
Because we're so like, well, I'm planning for this, I'm planning for that. And I'm guilty of it, or I forget that.
We both are, and that's why we're talking about it, because it helps us.
It helps us remember, and it's something that, I was sitting here they're standing in the kitchen tonight preparing dinner, and Tony's goofing around with the kids, and they're just having that fun. Like all of a sudden I heard the fun kid laughter that comes up when everybody's in a good place. Nobody's cranky. Nobody's poking each other. Nobody's doing, this or that to irritate each other. And they're all just having fun. And I thought, wow, what a special set. And I could just, as I'm making dinner, just be, even though I wasn't in the room, I could be present in that moment with them. This is your tomorrow. Stop putting off in your marriage the things for tomorrow and start doing them today.
Right.
If that means that you need to pick up the phone and call your husband and say, you know what, just thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Or, we're going to do date night in a month. No, maybe you need to do it tonight.
Yeah. Or maybe you do need to send that text and you got to get the romance going again. Maybe there's those little things that you need to do right now. And I know many of us, we get busy with our day-to-day schedules and with work and with life. And it makes it very hard for us to be able to pick up a phone and chat with our spouse. Fortunately for Lisa and I, we can do that at times, especially when I'm driving from one place to the next. It's very easy for me to just, hey, Elise, what's happening with you? Let's talk, because I got a 20, 30-minute drive. So I'll pick up the phone and, if the kids are gone. But maybe for some of you, it's just starting to text your spouse and romancing her again. And it's funny because just the other day I happened to cross some site where this guy, he came up with this really cool product called text to romance, or texting to romance. So it's not this sexual thing. It's more about just romancing your spouse, because it's not always about just saying, hey baby, I'd love to get you in bed. It's more like, hey honey, I can't wait to get home and wrap my arms around you.
So is it like suggestions for what to text, or what is it?
Yeah, it's okay. One of those types of deal. I mean, I can put a link to it. You guys can check it out. I saw it and I was like, oh, you know what? I liked it because of it. The process was more of the, let me romance you, and not just try to get you into bed.
Because sometimes we don't know what to say. We don't know how to, if it's been a while.
Share.
Yeah, if it's been a while, we don't know how to kind of get back up on that horse. And start to do the romance. Or if we've gotten so out of the habit of doing the little things that, what, I'm just gonna take the garbage out so he doesn't have to do it this week. Or what, I'll just swing by and pick up a couple things for the grocery store, pick up dinner because I know it'll make it, she's had a long day, and I know if I come home with dinner, it's gonna be the break that she needs
in the day. And a lot of it has to do, one thing I've been thinking about lately when Elise and I mentioned that to each other that we wanted to do this, was one of my big things is just our actions. How we get so caught up, and I fall victim to this too, is like I walk through the door and then all of a sudden it's just like everything is just breaking loose. All heck is just breaking loose in the house, and it's very easy to just go, everybody just stop, maybe scream, maybe just lay everybody out, and don't, you're not thinking about the aftermath. You're just like, I'm going to just plow through everybody so everybody just be quiet and give me space. But I have come to learn over the last couple of months that, and more than that, but it's just taking a deep breath and just realizing that my actions right now are going to dictate how Elisa and I are going to be able to engage each other this evening. So if it's one of my nights, say it's a Tuesday night, which is the last night that I have in my week of our intimacy lifestyle. If I come in this house and I just start blasting, it's going to be really hard, and I know it because I've done it, it's going to be really hard to try to romance her and get her in the mood later on in the evening. So I need to really think about, okay, how am I acting and reacting to everything? And I really just need to just take a deep breath, take a step back, and just go, you know what? I may have had a hard day. I may have had some tough customer calls. I may have had just things that just didn't go my way. But I don't need to just lay that out on Elisa and on the family.
Well, and you just saying that reminds me of a story I read years and years ago where it talked about this. It was like an observer watching this husband walk home, and he would pause by this tree by the front door, and he would just kind of like rub the, like pause there and then rub the tree, and it comes out in conversation later that the reason he was doing this is that he would take a breath before he walked in his front door, kind of unload all of his baggage from the day at the front door so that he didn't bring it home. It didn't walk in the door. And, I think there's a lot of validity to that, to say, you know what, have that little ritual, have whatever you need to have to leave what's going on out there so that you can be in the present. I mean, so much of, what we're talking about tonight with right now is being in the present, not doing that to-do list, right now.
Which Alisa's,
I am.
It takes me sometimes with Alisa with a to-do list. It can take me a half an hour to get her through that to-do list so we can get to the next thing. And sometimes we're in the moment. I've recognized it. I've realized it. And in the past, I would get upset. I would get mopey. I mean, we could be in bed and she's just going through all this stuff. And all of a sudden, to myself, I'm just getting mopey and I'm getting irritated. I'm not engaging her. I'm just sort of like, for crying out loud, let's get this over with as quickly as we can. But I've realized over time that it's just her letting it out, me understanding, hey, let me engage her right now. Let me talk to her right now. I may be tired. I may be, just let's get this moving at stage. But I've learned over the years that, some of the best times and the best conversations we're having are during that time, because it's quiet. We get to sit down. We get to relax in each other's arms. And better stuff is to come afterwards, because she has finally let everything out. I am now not in a grumpy mood anymore. I have changed my attitude completely to just go, this is just what it is. And for me as a husband, I should be praising God that my wife wants to speak to me like this, openly and honestly. Thank you, I say. Now I say thank you, and then we can move on from there.
Yeah. And that's, and because I'm aware that I do kind of have this mental to-do list going on, it allows me to, I'm to the point where I catch myself going, you know what? You're doing the to-do list. You're not being present with Tony. You're not in the, if we're having sex, I'm not in the moment. Get there. Put the to-do list on the shelf. It'll still be there in, 20 minutes. Come back to the relationship at hand. Or, if I'm doing stuff with the kids and I find myself starting to go down that path too, where I'm like, oh, I really, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm like, nope. Right now, this is where you have to be. Or like this morning, saw a girlfriend. We were dropping the kids off from school and she and I just started talking, and it ended up being this informal, kind of, hey, let's just go. We ended up going back to her house and just having a cup of tea and having a great conversation. And you know what? Right then, that was where I needed to be. Mm-hmm. My to-do list is still there. I still have to check off a few things before bed tonight, but I'm in a position where when you're in the